Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to another one of my reaction videos. So today I'm going to be reacting to the new episode of Death Battle, which just came out, which is DIO from Jojo's Bizarre Adventure versus Alucard from Hellsing. Not Castlevania, we got the Hellsing version. And I am personally very excited for this episode. This is one that just, like, the debate has been all over the place. Of course, this is one that gets really toxic, which I don't love nearly as much as, how fun the debate is. But regardless, I'm still really excited for it. I'm excited to see what Death Battle brings to the table, how the animation's gonna look, what the analyses are gonna look like, everything like that. I just think this one has a lot of potential. I'm super excited to see what this episode has in store. I've heard some good things about it, so I'm really excited. I don't know who wins, thankfully, and this is one where I really tried to avoid spoilers the best I could. Thankfully, I've done a good job of avoiding spoilers in general for everything this season, but I made sure to try extra hard because I knew people would try to spoil it for me. I'm sure I'll look at some of my comments and see that some people try to spoil it. Regardless, though, I don't know who wins, and I honestly don't know who's gonna win. I really have no idea. In my prediction, I did go for DIO, but, there were a lot of people who were pointing out, how strong Alucard is, and yeah, Alucard is incredibly powerful, to be fair, I just think that, in general, I still stand by this, and of course Death Battle could prove me wrong. It feels like DIO would beat Alucard in a fight, like regardless of dying, would beat Alucard in a fight more times than not. But it's just a question of whether or not DIO could actually kill Alucard, because if he can't kill Alucard, then it doesn't really mean much, when Alucard's still really impressive in his own right, so he probably has ways to take down DIO too, but then again, Death Battle might come to the conclusion that DIO can kill Alucard, or they might come to the conclusion that Alucard would beat DIO even if DIO can kill him, so I have no idea what they're going to say. Regardless, though, I'm still really excited for this. I'm excited to learn about two pretty cool characters. So yeah, without further ado, let's get to watching.
This episode of Death
there we
Battle
go. Okay.
Let's
skip ahead a bit.
Visit BetterHelp.com. Death Battle viewers.
All right, we'll leave it here.
Off your first month by going
Probably
to
move you a little bit.
BetterHelp.com/deathbattle.
Yeah, right there. All right, let's do this. This is one that's like, it's one of those battles that's been on my mind for a long time.
DIO Brando, everlasting adversary of the Joestar bloodline.
Yep.
Alucard, undying enforcer of the Hellsing organization.
Yep.
Vampires, the spawn of nightmares formed from
this is the Halloween episode.
Of man's demented imagination. Anime, basically the same thing.
Well,
what do you get when you combine them? Two of the meanest monsters out there.
You're not wrong.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and
also interesting to see what they're going to include for these characters, because that could make a big difference too.
Imagine, if you can, someone so wicked that the sheer magnitude of their unholy dickishness literally destroyed the universe.
Oh, yeah, I know a lot of people like that.
They'd have to be no less than the devil himself, but it was him, DIO. Born a
it was me, DIO, or it was I, DIO.
London,
regardless of what you're watching.
By his poverty and abused by his alcoholic father. His bitter resentment and small dick energy would lead to a lifelong desire for ultimate power and immortality.
It was down too long in the Midnight Sea, I like that.
And he'd get his chance to act when he was adopted into the wealthy Joestar family. DIO planned to kill his new father, George Joestar, and take his fortune for himself. Only
was George with a J?
His new brother,
probably not.
Jonathan Joestar.
Maybe, I don't know.
AKA Jojo.
Yep.
DIO tried to go all alpha
not Jotaro Kujo, different Jojo. A lot of different Jojos.
Beating him up, molesting his girlfriend, and setting his
yeah.
dog on fire. Jesus! You give that creepy dog murderer what for, Jojo?
He is very petty.
After years of emotional manipulation, DIO's twisted assassination plot was foiled by his righteous stepbrother. With help from the interfering Speedwagon, all seemed lost until DIO pulled out his Plan B, an ancient stone mask that turned him into a vampire.
That should be your Plan A.
Okay, so he's not technically a vampire like, say, Dracula. Instead of turning you into an unholy demon, the stone mask eliminates your body's natural limitations.
Yeah.
Making him way stronger, faster, and tougher than
I wonder if they're going to bring it back to say that that's good or bad for DIO in this fight.
And hypnotize you with just a glance. It gets weirder. DIO can create mind-controlling flesh buds from his hair follicles, vaporize the moisture in his body to freeze anything he touches, and fire beams of pressurized fluids that can
Space Ripper Stingy Eyes.
Pressurized fluids? Oh, sometimes it's too easy, Wiz. Even more
come on, Boomstick. I don't think anyone was thinking that.
Bisected,
I at least wasn't.
Lost limbs, filled with bullets, and had a huge hole punched in his chest not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yeah.
Another similar vampire, Straits, survived being blown to pieces and just pulled himself back together. All
Well.
Dio needs is some blood to speed up the process, so he is basically a vampire. Though I guess the fangs are just for decoration because he sucks blood through his fingers.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Dio used his powers
Interesting
to bring a
choice, but
zombie
okay.
army to conquer the world and feed a baby to its own mother. Just for kicks.
Ew.
Met a lot of real pieces
Jeez.
of shit on this show, Wiz, but I'm starting to think Dio takes the cake. Luckily, his plans were foiled again by his old frenemy Jojo, who beat Dio's ass with a martial art that uses the power of the sun.
Right.
Hamon.
Hamon, yes.
Because should Dio's vampire body be subjected to sunlight, he will instantly disintegrate.
Instantly.
So, what did
But his
Dio
healing
do?
is really good
Well, he
still.
cut off his own head, killed Jonathan on his
Maybe not as good as
wedding night,
Alucard,
and
though.
attached his head to Jojo's body. Wow, cake taken for sure. After
Yeah.
a century in a coffin at the bottom of the ocean, Dio resurfaced in Egypt and tried once again to take over the world. His ultimate goal was to create a world where everyone knew their own fate and could make peace with the inevitable tragedies life had in store. In Dio's mind, heaven. And he'd make it
Right.
happen no matter how many breads he'd have to eat. After being struck by a mystical arrow, sure, why not, Dio gained a stand, the embodiment of a
The
user's
world.
life force. Since they're made of psychic energy, stands can only be seen by stand users, and can only be hurt by other stands.
Yeah.
Quite the obstacle for any opponent lacking similar abilities. Ow!
Boomstick gonna get a stand?
Hey, look, Wiz, I got a stand! I call it 99 bottles! Hold on! Oh, shit. Don't worry, Wiz, I'll change you back with your D-Transmo...
Oh, that I was not expecting that at all.
Ooh, look, a giant beer!
As much as some of these skits annoy me, they do get creative, which I can appreciate.
As befits a god
Did you
among
drink
men,
Wiz,
Dio
dude?
received one of the most powerful stands in history. The Warudo!
Yeah, Zawarudo, yeah.
Time, huh? Thanks for the... Ow!
No!
Well, not only does his
Boomstick.
time get longer with each use,
I wasn't
he can
expecting that
speed
either.
As much as he likes. He's a massive troll. The world is absurdly strong and fast, able to match the stand Star Platinum, which belongs to Jonathan's great-great-grandson,
Yeah.
Jotaro Kujo. He technically inherited it from Dio through Jonathan's body and bloodline, making Star Platinum and the world the same stand. And both are two of the strongest
Yeah,
stands
kind
out there,
of.
just as strong as Stone Free, which can punch meteors that were pulled to Earth in seconds. By measuring the distance
Well.
meteors are from Earth, we can estimate they were moving at over 11 million meters per second. Factoring in their mass, they'd each have a kinetic energy of 441 kilotons of TNT. Not that crazy when you can throw punches
pretty
that are
that's pretty
faster than
cool
light.
though.
No, really, Star Platinum kept up with this stand, Silver Chariot, which could cut a beam of light.
Yeah.
Looking at the interval Silver Chariot's sword swung relative to the light beam, it must have moved over 1,500 times the speed of light. And
1,500.
matched Star Platinum on his own, and taken its punches head on. Yeah,
Crap.
but that's nothing compared to Dio's
That's
secret
something.
weapon, the greatest weapon in anime history.
Steamroller!
The Steamroller! Turns out Dio's a hell of a chef. He can make pancakes and donuts. Even so, despite having a massive god complex, Dio's still a careful tactician capable of exploiting an opponent's weaknesses. Too bad he wasn't prepared for Jotaro to learn
He's sometimes
how to
cocky,
stop time
though.
too and murder the shit out of him. That's some hardcore karma right there. But it only makes sense.
Yeah,
that
the damage you do to
Dark
one
Murderer
happens to the
died
other.
Like a bitch. But much
For
like
stand
the machinations
user.
of great and terrible men, Dio's will was immortal. In time, his greatest follower succeeded in extinguishing the Joestar bloodline and literally remaking the universe in Dio's image, creating that heaven he always dreamed of. I guess when you're named after a rock star, a movie star, and, oh, that's right, God, you're pretty much bound for greatness. You thought your first kiss would be
Jojo.
but it was
Dio! So yeah, it was Dio in the dub.
How blessed are some people whose lives have no fears, no dreads. For though the world seems full of good men...
Now this, I'm pretty sure I know like
monsters.
almost nothing about.
But don't worry,
Other than the
Jojo
research I've done.
England has it covered with the Hellsing organization. Founded by famous vampire hunter Abraham Van Helsing and led by his
What a
assistant
name.
Integra, this secret government institution has saved the world time and again with their secret weapon. And what better weapon to hunt vampires than with one of their very own?
Yeah.
No-life king.
It's Blade. Oh no, Alucard.
Alucard. To most, his origin was shrouded in mystery. But under Hellsing's employ, he was molded into an elite hunter.
True vampire, they make that clear.
His intense hatred of his fellow vampire
And was a little girl during World War II.
that he expresses
Okay.
with two of the
Sure.
gnarliest handguns you'll ever pray to your infinite God to never see in person. Alucard's primary sidearm is the Castle, a behemoth of a handgun able to kill most undead in one shot with holy bullets that can nullify a vampire's healing factor. The Jackal
Is that going to
is the
play in
handgun
Dio's
she
favor,
told you
though,
not to
since he's
worry
not a real
about.
vampire?
16 inches long and weighing 35 pounds.
Or is it
Its
going to be
armor
bad
piercing,
for him
hollow
because of, like,
point
healing and
bullets,
stuff?
jacketed
I don't
in
know.
Blessed Macedonian silver were built to annihilate the toughest monsters. And after decades of clandestine experimentation, Hellsing enhanced Alucard's vampiric abilities far beyond the norm. Alucard can walk through walls, cast illusions, levitate, and move objects with his mind. Objects like, say, an ocean of over 3 million people's blood?
Yeah.
That'd be an energy worth half a ton of TNT. His
Oh,
psychic
thank you.
prowess allows him to read minds, communicate telepathically, hypnotize with a glance, and see through hallucinations with his third eye.
See through
He's not a
hallucinations.
Triclops. It's more of a sixth sense that lets him hit bullseyes from a kilometer away and even predict your movements. Kind of like the Sharon gun. Of course, he
You gotta
wouldn't
be fast
a real
enough, though.
vampire if he couldn't drink blood. The catch is, when he drinks enough blood to kill you, he literally absorbs your soul. And that
Yeah.
right there is the source of his most fearsome ability. You just can't kill the sumbitch. Shoot him into Swiss cheese, blow his ass to smithereens, turn him into a literal blood puddle. He'll just regenerate his body lickety-split. Like we've seen
Yeah.
some overpowered healing factors on this show before, but Alucard's is just bullshit. While he does
Would it be the
possess
best, I
blood and
wonder?
organs like a
I
regular
honestly, I don't
human,
know enough
Alucard's
about
body
him,
is, in
but it could
reality,
be.
composed of an ethereal shadow-like substance that he can morph any way he wants. This allows him to shapeshift and instantly heal any wound. And each soul Alucard has consumed acts as an extra life that he can spend whenever he's fatally injured.
Yeah.
Kind of like a video game. And after 500 years
That's
of
a lot of
unlife, Alucard
survivability.
has consumed literally millions of souls. What up? Yay, more beer. Just like me. What up? Hellsing needed a beast as fearsome as
That would get
Alucard
annoying.
to take on Millennium, aka Nazi vampires. That's like evil squared. Like when Millennium and
Yeah.
Lieutenant Rip Van Winkle commandeered a British aircraft carrier as part of an invasion of London. Alucard didn't like that very much, so he jackknifed it with an SR-71 Blackbird at Mach 3. A fully loaded Blackbird weighs 170,000 pounds, meaning it's struck with a kinetic energy of 11 tons of TNT. That's as powerful as the U.S. Massive Ordnance Air Blast, aka the mother of all bombs. And Al was in the middle of that and strolled out like it was nothing. Just as impressive
Crap.
as intercepting Rip's magic bullets. Comparing the distance one bullet moved to the jet in the same time frame as the jet's own movement,
Yes.
each bullet would have to be moving at 1,500 times the speed of sound.
Very
and
fast.
Alucard caught one with his friggin' teeth.
Yikes.
And after giving Rip's name a new meaning, he drove that aircraft carrier back to shore with his mind to fight two separate armies at the same time. What a
Ooh.
goddamn monster. It goes without saying that Alucard's immense power and bloodlust needed to be controlled, so 6 restriction levels were placed on him that he can release against dangerous opponents. Levels 6 through 2 are for wrecking your ordinary ghouls. Level 1 is for your heavy-duty vampires, and for getting this gnarly demon doggo made from his shadow essence. Baskerville.
Awesome.
But there exists an even greater state of power Alucard can release when he wants to end the
Level
world.
0?
Level 0.
There we
Once
go.
activated, Level 0 releases every single soul Alucard has consumed as a sea of blood-soaked zombies. All 3 million of them. Sure, with his souls gone,
Yeah, that's a
he can't
lot.
heal as easily, and if his heart is destroyed, he'll die permanently. But the sheer numbers and power of this army from hell makes him virtually impossible to approach in the first place. He's unstoppable. This guy's got to be like the king of all vampires. Indeed, he is. Hellsing purposely kept Alucard's true identity a secret, all in the codename. Alucard backwards.
Little Dracula, yeah. I saw in his real name, like Vlad III Dracula.
Over 500 years ago, the Wallachian voivode Vlad Dracula battled the Ottoman Turks for control over Eastern Europe, and impaled thousands of people in the process. Hence his
Hellsing looks
name,
pretty awesome,
Vlad the
honestly.
Impaler. But things didn't end
Might want to
up
give it a
too
try.
good for him. Right before his execution, he took a big old sip of some blood from the battlefield, sacrificing his humanity in order to become an immortal creature of the night. And that is when the legend was born. But it wasn't anything Dracula was proud of. He grew to despise his monstrous nature and saw it as cowardice. The main reason he hated other vampires so much was that he really hated himself. Oh, that's deep, Wiz. Maybe that's why he always
Not like we haven't
enemies
seen that
rip
100
into
times
him like
before.
a pinata of self-loathing. His crazy OP healing factor will fix everything anyways. Millennium would exploit this
Could it fix his
arrogance
heart,
by
though?
tricking Alucard into absorbing the soul and abilities of Schrödinger, a German cat boy who controls his own quantum state. This grants him pseudo-omnipresence and immortality. He can exist everywhere and nowhere, and cannot die so long as he can recognize his own existence. But because Al had 3 million souls kicking around inside him, Schrödinger couldn't recognize himself anymore, forcing him, and thus Alucard, to fade out of existence. So Alucard
Okay,
spent
I'm
30
kind of getting
years
lost.
killing the other 3 million souls inside of him until he could return to reality and his master. He undid his own unexistence. No matter how spoopy the threat.
So are they
Alucard
including
showed no
Schrödinger?
mercy. He's just waiting for the day he meets a noble human warrior strong enough to end his unlife for good. But should he face a fellow monster, a fool who rejected their humanity like himself, he'll let loose the dogs of war, and all hell will sing.
They're making him sound really cool. Death Battle always does that. They make characters sound cool. Alright, well that's them.
Alright, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all
I guess-
possibilities. But first, if
Yeah,
you
there's
want
gonna
to
be
see
an
it,
ad.
you buy the form.
It's Blue
Click on your
Chew.
door. Consult with one of their waiting in line at the bar can help. And we've got a special fun free. Visit Blue
Yeah, I think I'll just
Chew.com
leave
for
it there. I don't
details
wanna
and important
overshoot.
safety information. And thanks, Blue Chew, for sponsoring the show. But
Yes, thank
right
you.
now,
It's time for a death battle. Pause the video. Okay. So I was getting really confident in what I thought was gonna happen until they started getting to the end of Alucard's analysis. The numbers that they gave for Dio were clearly superior, and I always was under the impression that Dio was just stronger and faster, or at least Dio and the world, you know, were stronger and faster collectively. You know, what were the numbers they gave? Like, in the hundreds of kilotons of TNT, which I don't think Alucard got anything close to that. Like, was the highest number like 11 tons of TNT? So again, we're looking like in the 400,000s of tons versus 11. And who knows, they might be like, they might refer back to a feat that they didn't actually calculate before, and they might say that that's higher or whatever, but based on what they've shown off so far, it seems like Dio, or the world, you know, is just stronger, physically stronger, and definitely faster. Like, they were saying, what, Mach 1500 versus, I think, 1200 times the speed of light, was it? Am I getting that number right? Regardless, though, like, the speed of light is nearly 900,000 times faster than the speed of sound. So, you know, it's not quite a one-to-one comparison like you have, you know, like the number that they gave for Alucard being that many times faster than sound was the same number that they gave for Dio being faster than light, but it's still pretty close. Like, that is still a massive difference. Again, like, it would take nearly Mach 900,000 to get to 1 times the speed of light, and you're looking at Mach 1500 for Alucard, at least based on what they said, you know? So again, just, they might pull out some other numbers later, but based on those numbers, it looks like Dio has the advantage, and they're including level 0, which they did say that, you know, if they kill the heart of Alucard, then he will die permanently. And if the souls are really made out of blood, and if Dio can stop time for certain intervals, then it makes me think that, again, you know, Dio could just suck the blood, or, you know, consume those souls. Is that even the right phraseology in this case? The point is, he could get more power and more energy, more stamina from those, you know, souls, and eventually make his way to Alucard and actually kill him, with him being that much stronger, that much faster, and having the time stop along with his other abilities. It does seem like Alucard is more versatile, but I'm not sure if those abilities can make up for, you know, the strength advantage and the speed advantage that Dio has. I do think Alucard is going to be forced to go into level 0, which will leave him vulnerable. However, I'm not sure if they're including the whole, you know, Schrödinger thing, where they say, you know, like, he can be everywhere, like a whole omnipresence thing, and if he, you know, he only dies if he doesn't recognize his own life or something like that. I'm not sure whether or not they're including that. If they are, does that just like do a reversal on everything they've said before? So I'm not sure. I feel like this is the kind of thing where I'm just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Like I really don't know what they were including. If they were just going through more lore at the end, or if they were actually talking about things that'd be included for the analysis. I'm really not sure. So I feel like I just have to watch the video and see what happens and just enjoy the fight. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Let's get to watching. If I really had to guess though, I would still say DIO, but I could definitely see Alucard pulling it off. All right, nice 3D element.
You interrupted my dinner. Funny, I was just thinking about having mom.
They're both vampires, but like they're so different. It's kind of cool. Oh, I didn't even think about whether or not Alucard could see the world or hurt it, but I don't think he could hurt it. Could be wrong though. Wow, already, but not yet. Also, DIO wouldn't have the standard vampire weaknesses except sunlight, so that could play in his favor too.
How oh so very weak, dog. You thought you'd triumph, but it was I. DIO?
DIO? Ouch! Ow! Like, he can heal too, but ow! So is that level 1? Am I getting that correct? I got the steamroller. Of course they were gonna put in. We're not seeing the world as much as we saw Star Platinum in Jojo versus Kenshiro. But I think that works here. There we go. There he is. Ooh, pool of blood, sea of blood. Oh. Like raising the dead, or those aren't the souls, are they? Maybe they are.
A real fucking vampire.
Oh, jeez. I mean, Alucard's not wrong. Like, for a direct comparison. This looks very good. Think about how much time this would have taken, man. For all of this, the whole spectacle. Woo! Telekinesis, right? All these things I never would have expected them to do. Oh, crap. Right to the face? Oh! Oh. Right. Freezing. Oh, come on, are you kidding me? Okay. Sorry, it was just getting good. I'm sure we're almost at the end. Sorry about that. The time stop? Space Ripper Stingy Eyes? Okay, where is everybody? Heaven? Or hell over heaven? Oh boy. Oh! Mana, 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 mana. Jeez. The end. So he must have gone to level 0 during that time. Which I kind of picked up on, but it was a little confusing.
He may have been the king of the vampires.
That was a lot of fun.
But DIO had everything he needed to clip the bird of Hermes' wings. Alucard's strategy in most fights is to heal from an opponent's attacks until they get tired, then take advantage of an opening. But he couldn't do that here because Dio didn't really have any openings, and Alucard wasn't nearly as strong or as fast to compensate.
Alucard could survive crashing that jet and move 1,500 times faster than sound.
Yeah,
But
exactly. The
stealing
numbers
from
just don't
Stone 3
stack
and
up.
Silver Chariot, the world could punch relativistic meteors and move 1,500 times faster than light. That would make Dio nearly 40,000 times stronger and 800,000 times faster than Alucard.
Yeah,
Hell,
see, it's
Alucard couldn't
big
even
difference.
save or hurt the world in the first place because he's not a stand user. And since stone mask vampires from Jojo aren't weak to holy weapons like Hellsing
There we go,
vampires
yeah.
are, Al's guns were more or less dead weight.
Plus,
Because he could just heal from all of that.
Get past the time stop. Even if he did somehow, Dio could just freeze him on contact.
And considering Dio has taken punches from Star Platinum, Hal would have had trouble doing damage even if he got the chance.
Dio's far greater speed and power meant that, given enough time, he could realistically kill Alucard 3 million times in quick succession. Without any viable options for
Which
attack
sounds
or
crazy,
enemies to
but
exploit, Alucard's
it's
soul-based
believable.
regeneration meant he would run out of lives eventually, and level 0 only sped up that process.
Yeah.
Sure, that army's nothing to scoff at, but consider the time Dio's eye beams split those huge-ass clouds.
Estimating the size of the clouds and
Oh.
the speed at which they moved, Dio's beams must have output an energy of over 10 megatons of TNT, enough to wipe out Alucard's army in one go, leaving him vulnerable. Just like when the
Yeah.
second vampire, Walter, could have killed him by piercing his heart. Alucard's even admitted it himself.
Hell, Alucard's army is filled with blood. You know, that thing that Dio
Yeah.
uses to heal? But
So pretty much
what about
everything I was
Schrödinger?
saying.
With his powers, Al can't die unless he chooses to.
While Schrödinger's quantum immortality makes him impossible to kill normally, it is literally part of the story that Alucard cannot have Schrödinger's abilities and his greater array of powers at the same time, or else he'll no longer exist. We can't give him both Schrödinger and his standard powers without breaking the lore and rules of the character.
Okay.
Even if
I
we
think
did,
I was
it
hearing
doesn't
people
really
talk
matter.
about that,
It
actually.
doesn't help him kill Dio at all, so
Sounds
at
kind of
best,
familiar.
it'd be a stalemate. Until Dio hypnotizes Alucard, asks him about his powers, and forces him to eject Schrödi like the rest of his souls.
Shocking though it may be,
Yeah, I
Dio's
suppose.
overwhelming
They both have
offense,
hypnotism, though, so.
and uniquely devastating abilities
But Dio just
wore
had
Alucard down until
more.
The No-Life King had no lives left.
Alucard got Dio-owned.
Boomstick, you tell the worst puns in the world.
That's right, and you're just gonna have to deal with it.
No.
Wait a minute, that was a pun. That's my territory. We talked about this.
The winner is Dio.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for watching the show.
Okay.
I really hope you enjoyed that
People are
episode.
gonna be pissed as hell from that.
Right now, just click
But
the
that
box
was
on the
fun.
screen and check
That
out
was
Red versus
satisfying,
Blue
honestly.
Family Shatters, where the Red versus Blue Zero crew gets up to all sorts of wacky antics. It's really fun. A lot of people who worked on Death Battle also worked on this show.
Nice.
Give it a watch. Thanks.
So go check that out, guys, if you want. Akuma versus Shao Kahn. Yes. That's Akuma, and that's Shao Kahn, yeah. Okay, yeah, it made sense that that one was the next one out of, you know, the ones that we already know, like Madara versus Aizen, Korra versus someone, Akuma versus someone, which we all pretty much knew was Shao Kahn, or at least that was the most likely option. But it made sense that this was the next one because they haven't used video game characters in a while. Like, they haven't used it since Link versus Cloud. And I figured it made the most sense just because of the fact that, you know, they probably wanted to get out the returning combatants out of the way first. At least that's what I figured. I don't know if that's actually what they were thinking, but I don't know. I got it right, so there we go. But yeah, no, Akuma versus Shao Kahn. I probably already have a prediction up for that, you know, because just based on you know, copyright claims that this video will probably go through. But yeah, no, I'll definitely be giving my thoughts on that one. But yeah, talking about this episode, like I said, this one is gonna piss so many people off. I know so many people are gonna be like, but that's not how it works. This is how it works. You can't do this. That wasn't fair. You know, people are gonna complain about this one, but they were gonna complain about it regardless of what happened. So I'm happy that Death Battle just, you know, realized that and figured we might as well just go with what we believe and, you know, make a great spectacle out of it. And while it might not have worked all the time, like, while I do think there were some parts of the animation that were a little confusing, while I do think that maybe they could have explained some things better in the analyses, most things were pretty top-notch. Most things felt really satisfying. Maybe I'll rewatch it and think, like, okay, maybe they could have done that better and that better, but as of right now, my initial reaction is pretty positive. I found a lot of things enjoyable in this episode. Everything by the end of it really made sense to me. And again, like, people are going to be upset. And personally, you can disagree with this all you want. I'm not going to be upset if you disagree with it, but I ask that you don't be upset that I do agree with it. Because I know there's going to be some people that are going to be like, how can you agree with this crap? I'm like, guys, calm down. This is just for entertainment, right? So for the entertainment perspective, yeah, this was a lot of fun. This must have taken a ridiculously long time. I think they said this was the longest episode of the season. Was it the longest animation? I think it was, because I think I saw that the track Hell Over Heaven was like over 4 minutes long. So it was at least one of the longest animations, if not the longest. And they clearly needed to go over a lot for the characters and go over the outcome a lot, of course, because there was a lot to go over in pretty much everywhere you look. But yeah, no, everything made sense to me by the end of it. And yeah, like, as weird as it is to think, you know, Dio stats were just that much better. Like, it's like how I said in my prediction that I just couldn't see a way that that you could argue Alucard beating Dio more times than not. I just couldn't think of it. It was Dio was going to be beating Alucard more times than not, regardless if it was a fight to the death. Like, if it was just like a regular fight where neither character had to die, then yeah, that part was obvious. Really, the only question was whether or not, you know, whether or not Dio could kill Alucard. And, you know, personally, I agree with what Death Battle says. Like, that's a lot of what I said in my prediction, what I even said in this very video. So, you know, again, like, it works for me, but I'm almost scared to say it works for me because I know that people are going to be like, well, this isn't right, you stupid. But again, at this point, people are going to be upset with Death Battle no matter what they say. People are going to be upset with me no matter what I say. So I just got to say with what I believe in. And honestly, everything here made sense to me. Everything was entertaining. Everything was fun. This was just a really solid episode. For a Halloween episode, I'd say this was pretty darn good. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Who do you think should have won? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd really like to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, comment your comments down below, subscribe if you could too, that would be amazing. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.